Hello everyone, it's me, Lola Javon, back with the weekly vlog, which is the video version of my written blog that you can find over at www.lolajavon.com. And today we're here to talk about this painting, which is called Rock, Old as Eons. It is oil on Yupo. It's about 18.75 by about 11.5. And there's a little bit of a border for framing. Thick-skinned gloves like armor, they bend but do not give. Gloved hands grasp, rock sharp, rock unyielding, rock old as eons. I climb, not as a goat, but as a hesitant human. Can I? Should I? Will I? Probably I should not, but I can. And I will. It is 1 month away, our annual hiking boot camp on the border of California and Oregon, where we test our mettle against rocks, briars, tides, sand, sun, and this year maybe ticks, since they have gone bonkers on the West Coast. And so my head is filled with memories of what we did the last time, and the time before that. Oh, and the time before that, including the equipment epiphany that was climbing gloves. Don't get me wrong, we're not rock climbers per se. We are scrambling over giant boulders to get to the next cove. And those gloves, they make old arthritic hands better, and the woman wearing them more confident. And what the heck does this have to do with art? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The right tool can be transformative. Put a rubber wedge in my hands and things are easy peasy. Things I could never do before happen with a rubber wedge. Give me an old rough chopstick and organic texture will happen within the paint that I couldn't make happen with a precise instrument. My favorite palette knife, it can do many things. I have 100 palette knives, but I keep going to this one because it makes the magic. That new primer I mentioned last week, depth of color without extra effort on my part. If things aren't working out despite your many attempts, a different tool, a brush, a pen, different paint, different substrate, anything really, might just be the tipping point that you need. Let's talk about this art. It's another murder. Yeah, I know it's early for the murder season, but I can't resist. This was a vertical, abstract figure painting in oils, and it just didn't move me. So I turned it, grabbed a wide brush, a palette knife, and my trusty chopstick, and I went to work. I worked quickly and intuitively. I deliberately chose a very limited color palette so that I could just have the paint all laid out and not really think about it. I knew this palette would work. I wanted to capture rockiness without losing the abstraction, and I chose kind of a V composition going in, knowing that those angles would work best with this type of landscape. So I roughed in large blocks of color. I worked wet into wet, working quickly, going fat over lean, aiming for a balance of hard edges and soft. I began adding thicker and thicker layers to the Yupo, and then literally carving back into this paint with the chopstick, sometimes with the palette knife. The texture of the underpainting shows through, especially right here, where it's almost like snow on the rock, almost like a snow-covered map topography, which, delicious. Weeks of drying afterward, and then a coat of varnish. Voila, there you have it. And just a reminder, as you may be getting tired of these reminders, but it's important to me, so I'm telling you anyway, you still have time to get your copy of Monstrous and the Fairy Tale Survival Kit at www.waywordbooks.com. And thanks to everyone who has ordered already. Stay tuned to the end. I'll show you this painting framed and in situ. And thanks again for spending time with me this week. Your questions are always welcome. You can hit me up in the comments or contact me through my website. Remember to subscribe over at www.lolajavon.com. See you next week. Bye.
They nearly meet a leader one time. They didn't have enough thread to sew the patches on. She said, you know how you heard about that family that burned down